Another one. This is Coach B. Yes, sir. We back with another one. So, Taz, what we got today? How we feeling today?
Bro, it's a beautiful day. Beautiful
Beautiful
day.
day.
Beautiful day today.
Come on.
Hey, so what I want to do is I kind of want to take over your show today
Let's go.
because I want to put you in the spotlight,
I
Coach
love
B.
it. I
I
love it.
want to, today's show, I want people to get an understanding, a taste for really what your program is about,
Okay.
why you stand out, and why you even do what you do,
Right.
right? So I kind of, the direction I think and that I want to go in and what I really want to talk about is this theme. We in our last show we kind of ended it with, hey, we're gonna really
Yeah.
put some meat on the bone, right?
Talking about it.
And so I want to talk about why behavior change beats behavior control, right? Because I know Coach B and Empower You and Vast Reentry Service where I work, we really focus on the idea of behavioral change. Like behavior is sort of the foundation of some of the problems that we see, especially working with our youth. And so I want to kind of focus on the idea of why changing it is better than control. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, first of all, like, man, like, it's gonna be feel a little bit different, a little bit
Yeah.
odd, because I'm always interviewing.
Yeah, I'm taking over, bro.
Yeah.
I'm taking this. Look, this is a brother Todd takeover of
Let's
Coach
go.
B.
But it's all
But
good
I
though.
wanna, yeah, I wanna,
Yeah.
but I really wanna, I really, what you're doing is so important.
Yeah.
And I know that your approach to it is so humble,
Yeah.
and so behind the scenes
Yeah.
that I really want to kind of push your brain into the
Cool.
forefront. Okay.
Cool. No, I love it. I love it, man. And just like when we talk about the youth, man, we talking about my passion.
Yeah.
That's what drive. That's my drive. And to be honest with you, man, that's what keeps me going. Like, just making an impact in individuals' life concerning the youth. So when we talk about the youth, like, man, that's my language.
Word.
That's my language, because I was one of that youth that was lost, that needed that helping hand, right? That needed that somebody to guide me and
Right.
pour into me.
Right.
So I needed that. So just, man, us talking about this topic, it needs to be talked about, and it also needs to be addressed. Our youth. So the question you asked, what's the difference between control, right,
Right.
and
Change. Like
change?
why is control? Because I think Coach B, that we often approach um, problems with our youth, and not just with our youth, even just with ourselves as adults.
Yeah.
That the idea is that we got to control
Yeah.
them. We got to control these kids. They're out. What do we say always? They're out of control,
Yeah.
which means we got to put them back into control.
Yeah.
But why is change better than control?
I think change is better in control is because they're making a change rather than being controlled.
Okay.
Because you got to think about it. Like, when I was growing up, and like some of the um, sometimes I felt the dictator rule, right?
Right.
And when a child feel like you controlling their every actions, that's a tend to allow them to rebel,
Right.
you know. But if you give them an option for change, they will choose change, because they can see change is much better for them rather than you trying to control them
Right.
to change.
Right.
So I think giving them enough room and seeing what you present to them, and giving them that option, like, hey, listen, I do need that in my life.
Yeah.
I am missing that in my life.
Right.
And I believe that they'll choose to change.
Yeah.
Rather than you forcing the change
Right.
on them. You know?
Yeah.
And when you forcing somebody to change, 9 out of 10, it's gonna be rebel, because they're not ready for it. And the second part, like, you trying to make me do something that I really don't want to do.
Right. Yeah, I think one of the key components in my approach and the work that I do is understanding that as human beings, we don't like to be controlled.
Yeah.
There's a spirit in us, right? Like I don't care
Right.
what it is.
Right.
Yeah, if you tell me what to do, I'm gonna have a problem with it, right?
Mhm.
Even if it's good for me, I want to be able to control my life,
Mm.
and I think that it's important for youth because they're developing that
Yeah.
idea of their own sense of self,
True.
which is all about control, right?
True.
And so if you try to approach them from a standpoint of controlling them,
Yeah.
right? Because again, we do it inadvertently. You're out of control, which
Yeah.
means I'm going to put some control on
Put
you,
some control.
and we ignore the fact that they're young,
Yeah.
but they're human beings that got
Yeah.
that same spirit that we all do. That we don't. I want to make the decisions
Right.
in my own life.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Right.
So look, let me ask you, when you see bad behavior,
Yeah.
right? I have this idea and that behavior is communication.
Okay. That's a
Okay.
good way. That's a good way. to do that.
That when you see someone, and especially troubled behavior,
Yeah.
the bad behavior is not just bad behavior. They're really trying to say something.
Yeah.
Um, so I might see someone acting out and I look at them and say, well, they're just being disrespectful,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or I see someone that's like skipping class. And I've learned, it's
Yeah.
not been easy, but I've
Yeah.
learned to see that behavior and
That's
say, oh,
good.
they're not just skipping class
That's
because
good.
they're bad or they're lazy, but they're doing these things as a way to communicate something.
That's good.
How do you see that?
Right. Now I think you put the icing on the cake for that one because like that is because sometimes when kids are acting out,
Mm-hmm.
they're communicating something, but they don't really know how to say what they're communicating. Right. So a lot of times we'll be like, "Oh, that's a bad kid,
Right.
being disrespectful." But why?
Right.
You know,
Right.
is it lack of attention? Is it something mentally that
Right.
person is going through, or if it's something that they're trying to really get someone attention to let them know, look, something is here.
Right.
This is where I'm acting out, and this is the only language I can speak to get an individual to pay attention
Right.
to
Right.
me.
Right.
You know,
Right.
because most of the times when a kid do act out, 9 out of 10, it's a lack of attention.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
lack of attention.
Yeah.
It's something going on that they want to be noticed, or they can be crying out for help.
Right.
But that's the only way they can communicate it, by acting out, being disrespectful. Now, I'm not opposing. I'm not praising that
Right.
that a kid should. This should be the way that they do get recognition.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know, being disrespectful. Acting. Nah, I'm
Right.
not condoning that. But I'm just saying, like, instead of just condemning them for it, pay attention to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Being patient with them and being open to them and having that sit down and talk to them like,
Yeah.
what's going on with you? Like, what's up? Why are you doing that? And I'm pretty sure we do that approach rather than just really just hammering down on them. We can get way more from them and see how we can guide them and
Right.
lead them the right way.
I think that's a huge problem for us as adults.
Yeah.
Right? Because kids are going to do what kids
Yeah.
are going to do. And they are going to do those things,
Yeah.
as you said,
Yeah.
for reasons where they're really trying to get notice. They just want a connection. They want something. I feel like it's just been our problem because we perceive ourselves as older and wiser.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that in that area, we really make mistakes. How do we make it easier for kids to be able to communicate what their needs are? Like, what do you do to be able to get through that?
Well, I think like creating that atmosphere and that comfort zone for them, being approachable.
Okay.
I think a lot of times where us adults, we're not approachable.
Okay.
And that's what kind of allow kids to not really open up because of them not approach.
Right.
The reason why they're so open with their friends is because their friends create that comfort for them to share, right? And I think if we create that comfort and not being their friends,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think a lot of times where parents mess up in authority figure, we kind of like befriending them, right? And they kind of see us at the same level as them, right? I'm not a don in that, but I'm just saying is this: coming up with a way that allowing them to be um, enough transparent with you
Mhm.
and creating that comfortable space with you and them, creating that relationship with them where they can come to you and be like, hey, this is what's going on. Hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is, and
Yeah.
just creating that space, that relationship.
What do you think that kids want us to know that we just are missing? Right?
That's good.
What do they really want to tell us, or what do they wish that we understood? Right? Because again,
Yeah.
and this is why I'm putting you in the spotlight.
This is good. This is good.
Because
You challenge
I'm
me.
humble. Look, I'm a parent.
You
I've
challenge
raised,
him.
I got an adult kid and I got
Yeah.
a 5-year-old,
Gotcha.
and I try to remember how it was when I was young.
Yeah.
And I think that it's been perpetual in the sense that when we're in positions of authority, right, and we are teaching, we're mentoring,
Yeah.
but we're still we're still the adult.
Yeah.
And I realize now that a big problem with us is that we don't communicate very well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In your experience, what are the things that the kids that you're working with, the kids that you see, good and bad,
Yeah.
what is it they really want us to know that we're just blind to?
All the kids I work with, young adults, and I notice they have the same thing in common, is they want to be heard.
Okay.
That is the key point. They want to be heard because most of the time, us adults over talk.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we do.
We over talk them, right? And we think we know it all, right?
Yep.
We think we know it all.
Yeah.
But if us adults will sometimes humble ourselves and just listen to hear what they have to say,
Yeah.
they can teach us a lot.
Yeah.
And not only they can teach us a lot, but also too they want to be heard. All the kids I work with, young adults, that's the key fact that they have in common. They want to be heard. They have something to say, and they feel like their voice matters. So when they feel like they've been drowned out and no one's listening to them, yeah,
I suspect that we drown kids out much more often than we think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I
yes.
a couple of weeks ago, I attended a meeting that was called, right.
Yeah.
We want the youth to come to the meeting.
Yeah.
Right. This meeting, and it was dope. It was another brother who was an activist like you.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I'm just gonna call a meeting, bring your kids, tell them they're all welcome. And kids showed up, but also so did the adults. Leaders in the community, different aspects. And I remember sitting there thinking, okay, as this meeting started, I was hoping that it wouldn't turn into us as adults talking about what we do. And like you said, we think we know it all. We got all the solutions.
Right.
And that's what it kind of turned out. It started out like that, where, we had a mic and people were passing it around. And, the leaders were standing up. Let me tell you what I know, and this is what I've done. And I just remember sitting there like, I was like, if I was a kid, I would be bored. Right. And I'd be wondering why. Listen, I was watching the kids, and they were just, and people were going into the stuff that they did and what they had been doing for years and years, and almost giving us their story.
Right.
And I was like this is the problem. Right? This is the problem.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
I don't you probably got an interesting story, but I don't want to know it right now, because we called this for the kids.
Yes.
The meeting was called because we were dealing with youth issues, and so it was like, bring the kids, let's hear them. and yet we had taken over. And it wasn't on purpose, right? I don't think it was malicious, and it was really like intentional. But I think we end up doing it unintentionally, where we really don't listen. Because we want to control. We want to put them back in control, and we think we know what's best for them. And at the end of the day, like you said, I think that's a key thing, that they just want to be heard.
They want to be heard.
And I don't think we do a good job. I don't think we do a good job of listening, bro.
Right.
Talk to me about this idea. I want you to touch on this idea about discipline without relationship.
Okay.
What happens? Because
that's good.
My thing is, another problem that we have, in addition to not really listening, is that, again, trying to get these kids back into control.
Right.
I don't think it works out unless you have a relationship. You seem to understand that you have a really good relationship with the youth that you work with.
Okay. Yeah.
Why is that so key?
Well, first of all, like, some kids are not used to being disciplined by authority figures, especially by probably a male, because the male never was in the household. So if a father is never present in the household, and when a male comes into their life and try to discipline them or critique them or help them, they're not used to that, so they'll push back because the relationship is not there with a male.
Right.
So if the relationship is not there with a male, and the male comes in their life, they're like, man, who are you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not used to this.
Right.
I'm not used to this.
Right.
You know, I'm not used to no man telling me what to do or authority figure tell me what to do. I'm not used to that. So who are you? So that pushback will come because their relationship was never never was foundation.
Do you deal with a lot of you? I'm really curious, because I think, in a stereotypical sense, we just kind of have accepted this idea that there are no male figures in the household. Like, if we see especially a young male, right, we generally just default and think, daddy's probably not around.
Yeah.
Is that your experience? Like, do a lot of the youth that you work with lack that male figure in the household?
To be honest with you, like, almost like 98%.
Okay.
Like 98%. The father's not there, and I think that plays a big role in a child's life.
Where are they? It just begs the question. Where are these fathers?
The fathers are either locked up or in the streets, because you gotta think about it. It's like a revolving door. Their father wasn't there.
Yeah.
So it's like generational curses, right? You know what I'm saying? So if this father is not, this child is not seeing the fathers in the household, and he's used to seeing that, so of course it's gonna be like the same trait. He's dead or in jail. You know, sad to say. You know, so that's kind of like the culture. That's kind of like the norm. You know, and man, it's crazy.
Let's take a break.
Yeah, that's it.
And then when we come back, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into that discipline without relationship, and with the relationship, and what the difference is.
Cool. That's good.
So we're back.
Let's get back into it.
So how do you fill in that void when you're dealing with youth that didn't have that father figure, that authority figure, and you automatically are seen as that, but you have that pushback, like say, without that figure being there, you don't have the relationship, so you're going to get some pushback because you haven't connected. How do you overcome that? How do you fill in that void and do it in a way that you're still effectively connecting?
Yeah. One of the ingredients is when you're baking a cake, right? A good cake that you see on the box. There's different ingredients that you have to use to make that cake, right? So I believe that building a relationship, a healthy relationship, it takes the right ingredients.
Okay.
And one of those ingredients is consistency.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the kids, that's for anything. Like if you be consistent with something, right? It builds trust. Right. So once that trust there, what is vulnerability? Is binding, is building that relationship. So I think it's one of the main ingredients approaching and rebuilding and regapping that that absency of that father not being there, or that not having nobody there to that authority figure there. It's just consistent. You being consistent in who you are and what you in that life to be. I think that plays one of the main parts, consistency.
Okay, that is absolutely a main ingredient. Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about identity driving behavior. Okay.
All right.
Because if a kid believes that they're a bad kid, they're a dumb kid, if they're the street kid, if they're the throwaway, then their behavior is going to match that identity. How do you approach making sure that you're offering an identity to kids that they can connect to? And then how do you approach when you see them connecting to the bad identity, or the kid his behavior is matching what he's been told, and what he's been told has always been negative? How do you approach that?
So first of all, I just want to say this: like, broke people break other people.
Right.
So it's a mindset.
Okay.
All right. So first off, before a kid get a label off of them, right? They gotta understand that a label been put on them.
Right.
So once they realize that a label been put on it, and now they can address, like, damn, this is put on me. This is not really who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So once they get a glimpse of that, they can start working on a mindset on how they perceive themselves. And so I think, like, a lot of times when they have bad influence in their life that's constantly beating them down, right? It's kind of like it's hard to get away from that, right? It's hard to take that label off of you because you constantly hearing it, right? And whatever you constantly hear, that's what you're gonna believe that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think first of all, you gotta come from out of that environment.
Okay.
Come from out of that environment and get into another healthy environment. Get into a healthy environment, and that healthy environment, and it's going to expose to you something different, right?
Right.
So instead of somebody calling you stupid over here in this environment, somebody over here is calling you, hey man, you're smart.
Right.
You're intelligent. So once they escape, so now they start hearing something different. So now when they're hearing something different, they start believing something different.
Right.
And they start believing that, hey, maybe this person is right.
Right.
So now their belief system change. Now you start seeing their belief system start counteracting the decisions that they're making.
Right. Yeah.
Because they believe something different. Right. So it starts off first, getting out the environment first.
Okay.
Pull them out the environment. Put them into a healthy environment. Once you pull them and put them in a healthy environment, then you start speaking something different from what they were speaking.
Different, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it changed the mindset. And once they changed the mindset, it changed the decision. Now the behavior changed because the decisions change.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
makes absolute sense. Makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
So in the general sense, Coach B, what makes your program different than the next youth program? Now I know you have the Empower You
Yeah.
modules built in. I know that the idea is that, you know, you're offering structure.
Yeah.
This is a structured way to get across these concepts that you're trying to teach. But what is it? What is it that makes Coach B the Coach B program that stands alone and stands above other programs?
Yeah. So with the Coach B curriculum, it's a system.
Okay.
It's a system that it's a system that operates. You know, the difference between a program and a system. A program can stop, but a system, it keeps going.
Okay.
It keep replicating itself, right? So we're not just putting people in programs, right? But also too, we giving them a curriculum that can replicate,
Okay.
not only just for themselves, but also too for the generation to come.
Okay.
This is can be instilled in their kids and their kids' kids.
Right.
These principles, right? These different ways of living, these life skills. All this stuff can be passed down from generations to generations.
Right.
Can make an impact in their life and into the next life.
Okay. So why should parents trust Coach B?
That's a good question. That's a real good question. The reason why parents can trust Coach B in the curriculum is because not only that we're transparency,
Mm-hmm.
but also too we hold ourselves accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that's teaching the curriculum through the program is transparent. We not only we hold ourselves accountable, and we making sure we teaching this curriculum the right way,
Mm-hmm.
but also to our hearts are driven for our people to
Right.
make a difference
Yeah.
for the people in our kids' lives.
I think that's extremely important.
Yeah.
In your experience in dealing with the youth, what is it that they want us to know? Us meaning parents and adults and everyone else who's trying to tell these out of control kids that they need to be put back in control and they need to be disciplined, and we're preaching to them and we're trying to mentor them. What? Because I always get the sense that we're doing so much putting on them, we never get a chance to really hear something.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing that kids want us to know that we don't see?
That they matter. That they
Okay.
matter. They have a voice. They want to be heard. You know, because a lot of times we push things on them that I think like the more we be sensitive to what type of kid it is and who they are, we'll know how to respond to them. Not every kid has the same molding. You can't use the same mold for every kid, right? So we approach it differently.
Right.
And that's part of what Coach B system is. Like we take our time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not every mold fits every person, but we taking our time. What this kid need, right? So we thinking, all right, we doing. We have the youth empower you, right? So what if this kid need the empower you rather than the Coach B program, right? So we're not just pushing this program on them, right, and trying to manipulate them or trying to control them in this he probably don't needs that, right? So we just seeing and figuring out and diagnosing, all right, what this kid need at this moment in time. So I think that's one of the best ways we can approach, like, what do this kid need at this moment in time, and we're addressing that need.
Okay.
Yeah.
when you, because I think you're looking for change, right? We're
Yeah.
changing behavior as opposed to controlling it. What does that look like when you see a kid change? What is that? Because we can tell it's the same old. They're going to
Yeah.
be doing this, doing this, doing this.
So
But what does it
that's a
look
good
like when
question.
when they turn that corner?
That's a good question. Their attitude change.
Okay.
Their perception of who they are will change. That's how you know when a kid is changed. Their perception and their attitude change, and the way they do things change.
And so, how does that show up?
Yeah.
Like when you're able to point and be like, look, he changed by doing.
Sure. So, sometimes it'll spill over in his living space.
Okay.
Pay attention to how you live. At first, it used to be junky. Now
Right.
he's cleaning it up.
Right.
Now, at first, he used to be disrespectful.
Right.
Now he's respectful. Now,
Right.
you know. At first, he was so selfish that he didn't care about nobody else. But now he's aware of everybody else, holding the doors, complimenting other individuals.
Right.
Now, so yeah.
So okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty big markers.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about behavior. Another question about behavior.
Okay.
When the kid is in survival mode, what does that
Alright.
look like?
Oh man, that's a good one as well. So when the kid is in survival mode, of course, it's isolation. They begin to isolate themselves because now everyone around them becomes, how can I say it? Like they feel like they have to fend for themselves, right? And the moment you have to fend for yourself, you become self-consumed, right?
Okay.
Self-consumed. So, yeah, you become in isolation. You become self-centered, right? And thinking about how can you survive for the next day, you know?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Coach B, it's been great
Man,
talking to
it
you.
was a pleasure.
Look, every
scratched me.
gang recruits, every computer algorithm recruits, right?
Yeah.
Every street corner, every neighborhood, they recruit. And so I always wonder, like, who's recruiting our children for purpose,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're really on track
Yeah.
to imbue, not just simply to change behavior, but change behavior so that people are moving towards purpose. So
Yeah,
I
definitely.
definitely appreciate
Yeah.
your insight today.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, and look, you'll come back. You'll be in the chair running things. I appreciate you letting me take over on this special edition.
Definitely.
Really insightful, very informational, and I hope that people really reach out to Coach B, get their kids involved, look at what Empower You can do in terms of structure, because I think that was a really key point that he made. And I'm looking forward to watching your program grow and watching how change can affect and how these the participants and these youth can move into purpose. So
yeah, definitely, man.
Word up.
It was a pleasure.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Same here.
Cool, man.
Peace.
All right, and we out of here. It's Coach B.